And a very happy Friday to you at 12:08 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wags in the San Fernando Valley.
John, LA Mayor Karen Bass was joined by Ulysses Hernandez at a press conference announcing the brand new update to the My LA 311 app. And Karen Bass explained why we need an updated app.
LA needs to be cleaner. We have trash and debris everywhere. So if citizens will use the 311 app, we will be able to respond.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Everyone complains that they report this stuff and nothing happens.
Apparently it's because the app sucked and it took them 2 years to fix it.
You know who has the worst app on planet Earth?
Who's that?
Chipotle. Every time I go to use it, it logs me out and deletes everything that I had in there, including my favorite orders. And I finally got to the point to where I was so sick of dealing with that app, I just stopped going there.
How often were you using that app?
Well, for a while I was using it all the time. But now I guess I'm going to get norovirus somewhere else.
Well, you are going on a cruise soon.
That's true. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, if you're going to get yelled at by someone, the person you probably don't want to get yelled at by the most is a judge. I don't know what the deal is because all a judge is an attorney in a robe. But whenever a judge starts yelling at you, that gets your attention real fast. I noticed that when I served on jury duty. But Randy, one mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, just got yelled at by a judge for all to see.
This is Judge David Carter, who's been handling all the lawsuits against the city of Los Angeles, the county of Los Angeles, and LASA for having zero accountability with all the money they've spent on homelessness with zero proof of any outcomes. There was a hearing where everyone was supposed to talk to the judge, explain what they're doing to increase accountability. The head of LASA, Miss Felicia Adams-Kellum, Dr. Felicia Adams-Kellum was busy hanging out in Boston, so she wasn't there to explain the crooked contract that she wrote to her husband's nonprofit. And Karen Bass was late to the meeting. The judge said, "Where the hell's the mayor?" And she ran in the room.
What is the deal with these politicians being so busy they can't show up on time to participate in any kind of forum that provides oversight? Because it's not just her, it's Felicia Adams, it's Ricardo Lara, it's all of them.
Well, I'll tell you what exactly this is. In a one-party state, in a heavily one-party city, oversight is a foreign concept.
From her point of view, this is just checking boxes and going through the motions, and no one really has any kind of oversight because she's duly elected by the people, and if she wants to screw around with the money, that's her choice.
It doesn't matter if she bankrupted the city with her homeless plans that haven't actually attributed to any decrease in homelessness because she gets to spend the money. Let's hear what the judge had to say to Karen Bass. Here is a report from KCAL.
LA Mayor Karen Bass and other officials facing questions today in a federal hearing about homelessness. It comes after audits found both the city and the county are falling short tracking money spent on homeless programs.
Wouldn't that be the first thing you want to do? Track where you spent the money to show that it's successful so you can ask for more money and say this is why?
No, they're all terrified of audits. Gavin Newsom vetoed a bill that would have audited state money spent on homelessness.
What they don't want you to know is that the amount of money that was spent, billions of dollars in the city, $25 billion in the state in the last 5 years, has had almost a zero effect on the homeless population.
But it's made all their friends rich.
And as KCAL's Jeff Nguyen shows us, the mayor took a tough stance.
We got a whole bunch of people, children that's still living at Skid Row.
Kevin Call is known as the mayor of Skid Row.
Is that a thing?
I wonder what the city council looks like.
I guarantee those meetings are classier than the ones at LA City Hall.
Less profanity.
Kevin Call is known as the mayor of Skid Row. He made sure to be at...
Now, was there an election for the mayor of Skid Row, or is this just you call yourself the mayor?
I wonder if California Waste Solutions played in that race, too.
He made sure to be at the hearing inside the U.S. District Courthouse in downtown L.A. LA Mayor Karen Bass and other city and county elected officials were asked to be here following a blistering audit which identified problems with nearly $2.5 billion in funding that went through the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, or LAHSA.
I felt there was a lack of understanding in how they came to some of the conclusions.
County and city leaders did acknowledge there have been problems with accounting.
Yeah, they don't know where the money went, and they have no way to track if it actually helped.
Now, here's a question. Are they just that incompetent at tracking the money, or are they purposely trying to make it seem like they're buffoons so we can't tell that the money was stolen?
Oh, I think it's a little from column A and a little from column B.
But they say the independent audit does not show how to fix them. Judge David O. Carter, who's heard other homeless cases, did say the audit would not have happened without the cooperation from current city and county leaders who say they want to meet with auditors to figure out solutions.
How long have we been doing this?
We've been doing it a long time, and the problem just gets worse and worse and worse.
LAHSA has not been able to account for money that it's been spending for the past 18 years. And just in the last 3 or 4 years, we have no accountability for where any of this money went and if it was successful.
Nope. And they continue to ask us for more money.
And they got it. They said, hey, we want to double the homeless tax in the county. And people overwhelmingly voted for Measure A. So here we go. More money.
Stop doing that, voters.
They want to meet with auditors to figure out solutions.
Of course, people need to be housed, but that is not enough. There needs to be comprehensive services that are provided.
Yeah, but your whole plan was to pay way too much money to shove them in a motel with no services or medical care.
She was the biggest customer at the Snooty Fox.
And you know, those Yelp reviews on the Snooty Fox really paint a picture. Because apparently the Snooty Fox only has one very specific type of pornography.
And no complimentary breakfast.
Judge Carter also said he didn't trust local leaders as an institution, which is why the lawyers for the LA Alliance for Human Rights asked the judge to assign a receiver or homeless czar with budgetary control.
The judge's patient.
Oh boy, who's that person going to be? The homeless king of Los Angeles?
Who's that, Katie Hill?
The judge's patience is worn thin. Our patience is worn thin. And on behalf of the people of Los Angeles, we are stepping forward and saying if the city and the county aren't going to do this, then the court has to step in.
The judge wasn't too keen on the idea of a receiver. He did order Mayor Bass to sit next to the city controller in court to work out a way for the controller to conduct a performance audit on homeless spending, but the mayor...
Well, that's not going to be great because Kenneth Mejia is going to somehow try to tie this to the LAPD budget.
Well, and he's also a potential rival of hers as she seeks another 4-year term.
Unless she cozies up to that DSA.
The mayor rejected it.
I don't think that that is warranted.
No, of course. She doesn't want to sit down with anybody and talk about the numbers. She doesn't want anyone criticizing her programs, even though they're not successful.
If there's any legitimate third-party audit of her spending, she's going to look awful, and she knows that.
Same reason that Gavin vetoed the statewide homeless audit. They don't want you to know that they have no way to track this money, and the money has gone to crooked nonprofits that don't do anything.
And if there's no way to track it, what she's going to do is declare success, and she's going to say, and the numbers back me up. And if there are no numbers that you can trust, most people will believe her.
Well, already look what's going on. In the face of this lawsuit and all the scrutiny with LAHSA, LAHSA puts out incomplete point-in-time count numbers for this year. Usually it takes them 6 months to do the count, but they say, you know what, we got the numbers out and the numbers are down. But they have no way to actually tell you that the numbers are down because the report is incomplete. But they wanted the headline, hey, the numbers are down. And so Karen Bass could say, hey, the numbers are down, but they're not down.
The audit showed that there were a lot of problems. We already know this, and we
already know that the system's a failure.
Oh, we've known that a long time.
And we are doing everything we can to address these problems.
The judge mentioned the latest homeless count from Lhasa did see a drop. Is that what you're seeing?
No, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing that the numbers is a little bit higher than they was the first time that they did the count.
Judge Carter invited the local leaders back in court in May, and he encouraged them to get help from Governor Gavin Newsom to come up with some solutions.
Oh, great.
Who in the world thinks that guy has the answers?
And he doesn't want to be caught dead pictured with Karen Bass.
In downtown LA, Jeff Nguyen, KCAL News.
There you go. The judge has another hearing set for May where he's going to rip the city and the county and Lhasa a new one because they have no way to audit or track all the money they've spent over the years that has had a negligible effect on the homeless population.
And Gavin Newsom doesn't even have time to help with this. He's got podcasts to tape.
Oh, not only that, he's going on Bill Maher tonight.
Oh, yes, I did see that.
Oh, my. That'll be appointment viewing for every single California political reporter.
Well, Bill Maher is kind of doing the same thing as Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is doing a podcast where he sits down with various Republican conservative influencers, people like Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk and Michael Savage. And Bill Maher, I don't know if you've seen this, he agreed to go to the White House. He was invited to the White House. I guess Kid Rock is the liaison. He's the middleman. And now Bill Maher is going to go to the White House and have dinner with President Trump.
How is Kid Rock involved in that?
I don't know. I guess he's friends with both men.
Well, both of those interviews should be fascinating.
Well, I don't think this is an interview. I think this is just them privately having dinner.
Oh, boy.
Now, I know both men will talk about it publicly, so we'll know exactly what happened at that dinner. But they should have cameras on them. I'd watch that.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if this means that Trump will invite Alec Baldwin to the White House, too.
Well, they better frisk him first.
Yeah, no kidding. He's apparently doing a reality TV program with his fake Spanish wife and all their kids.
Well, and did you see she made a documentary about the shooting in New Mexico?
No.
Yes. It's a little tasteless.
She will do anything to keep her face on television. Literally anything. Those two were walking a red carpet, and she was asked a question. She started to answer the question. He interjected and was adding some fact to what she was saying, and she snapped at him and told him to never interrupt her ever again. Did you see that exchange?
How dare she?
You should have seen the look on Alec Baldwin's face. He didn't really say much, but if looks could kill, I could see the thought bubble in above his head as he was looking at her. After she snapped at him, he was thinking to himself, I shot the wrong woman in the face. I know he and I have totally opposite politics, but if he's got to go home with her every night, I feel sorry for him. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, it's Friday, which means the weekend is quickly approaching us. We don't produce live shows on Saturday or Sunday, but if you want to listen to us all weekend long, that's easy to do.
It's so simple. You just got to search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify. It's so easy. Search for The John Phillips Show. You can even do a Google on the YouTube. Hit subscribe. The episodes go straight to your phone after I personally post them. And so for you, whether it is a Saturday or Sunday, you can pretend that it is a
Monday,
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and
Friday.
Boy, there's an assist going on there.
I have a few different drops at the home studio.
And starting on April the 1st, we're going live in Northern California.
Coming this
Tuesday.
we are going to be broadcasting live every single day from noon to 3, The John Phillips Show, live and statewide on 790 KABC in Los Angeles, Orange County, and Southern California. At the same time, we'll be simulcasting on 810 KSFO in the Bay Area, taking live calls from San Francisco, San Jose, and of course, Oakland. At the same time, they were taking live phone calls from LA, Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, and Ventura. Heck, even San Diego, and of course, all the people that listen online. We've got 2 great stations, 1 great show. Listen every single day, starting on
Tuesday.
live, noon to 3, statewide.
And that KSFO signal is so strong. I found out that my brother's father-in-law, who lives in Bullhead City, Arizona, right across the river from Laughlin, Nevada, was listening to the radio late at night this week, and he heard us.
Yes, that actually happens, because right now the Fixed California hour that we do up there airs at 11 o'clock at night, sometimes at 6 or 7 o'clock. When other radio stations power down, that is what they used to call a clear channel signal. It's a 50,000 watt mega signal that is even stronger at night. So you can hear that signal in Southern California, crystal clear. Places like Arizona, Nevada, we've even heard you can hear it all the way up in the Yukon.
All right. In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
790 KABC welcomes Ricky Gervais' Mortality at the Hollywood Bowl on May 31st. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-795-2222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing.
We have an update for you on a story. Well, I guess, Randy, the headline on this one could be When Cal Worthington Goes Bad.
This, of course, is the RV encampment in the City of Industry that's been going on for 2 years. But just a few days after news cameras went in and interviewed Lucifer, who lit her trailer on fire, all of a sudden the sheriff's department is ready to move everyone out.
Can you imagine being the homeless neighbor to Lucifer? I wouldn't bring her a casserole.
For more on the clearing out of this homeless encampment in an RV trailer lot, here is KCAL.
A homeless encampment cleanup after weeks of buildup. Sheriff's deputies descending on a massive RV site in the City of Industry and starting to clear it out.
You know, because of all the fire.
Primarily lit by Lucifer.
Now, we've got KCAL News reporter Nicole Comstock live from the scene there with this major effort unfolding. Nicole?
And Pat, you know, it's a mystery how this all started out here, because some of the people who have been staying here told me tonight they weren't just squatting here for free. They say they were paying someone rent.
What the hell is going on?
Well, don't they call them van lords?
Yes, but who exactly became the landlord of a bunch of abandoned RVs in the City of Industry?
How great would it be if it turns out to be Donald Sterling?
Like, where do you go? Do you just go to our local homeless encampments and say, hey, I got an RV for you. Give me $300 a month out of your Social Security check and it's yours?
I don't know. Maybe they advertise in the back of the LA Weekly.
But not the property owner, because they say these RVs weren't even supposed to be here in the first place, and they had to go to court to try to get them removed.
Yeah, so there's so many weird wrinkles to this story. The lot is owned by one company. The RV company apparently put these RVs there without permission. So the RVs themselves were trespassing on this private property, and the RV company didn't want anything to do with them or something. And so now it's a private dispute as to why all the homeless are living there. It's the weirdest story.
Okay, so what we know is that no one involved in this story is following the rules at any level.
Yes, except for Lucifer. She is following the laws of hell.
Well, today the county got involved and they told everyone they'll be evicted in 5 days if they don't accept the help they're being offered right now.
Oh, yes, of course. We've got to get these people services.
At what point are we going to stop it with that? You just need these people out. Where they go is not relevant. They're living in a place they don't have permission to live in. Just take them out and dump them in the middle of the desert. Who cares? Just get them out of there.
You know what? Since whoever owns those RVs isn't coming forward and they're pretty much abandoned, instead of removing the people from the RVs, since it's the lot that where it is the problem, why don't we tow them all to that lawless city in Imperial County, Slab City, and these people can live off the grid and have as much meth as they want.
There you go. Kind of a homeless person's Burning Man.
We got to interview someone who lives there someday. That, if you hear stories about that place, it's pretty wild.
At some point, Netflix is going to have to do a show about it.
A tow truck carries the torched hull of an RV.
Because, of course, everything there has been touched by fire.
Away from this parking lot in the city of Industry, LA County Sheriff's deputies knocked on doors today and told the 35 to 40 homeless people who had been living here inside of luxury RVs that they had to leave.
This situation is unique. You'll have some who are vulnerable and who are homeless. Then you'll have some who are opportunists and saw, hey, I can get a trailer. And then there's just people that were hanging out. And then
just hanging out?
By the way, I would love to see what her description of luxury RVs actually looks like. Because if these luxury RVs are part of a homeless encampment, my guess is there's nothing luxurious about them.
Well, not anymore. But before the homeless moved in, these things were valued between $50,000 to $100,000 each.
Yeah, not after you light it on fire.
And then there were people that were actually predatory and starting fires.
The escalation of dangerous events scared people who work nearby.
We have neighboring businesses, we have neighboring buildings, which are in jeopardy once these trailers would catch fire.
And of course, this has been going on for 2 years. The city and the county did nothing about this. The sheriff's department did nothing about this until the news cameras got there this week.
And they would have continued to do nothing about it had the news not put it on.
Well, you remember, the first day this story came out, the county and Hilda was like, oh, this is a private dispute. This is not my problem. It's the city's problem. And the city's like, this isn't our problem either. Nobody wanted to take the blame for this, and no one wanted to take responsibility for this until it was filmed and everyone looked like a buffoon.
Boy, Hilda really is Johnny on the spot, isn't she?
This is actually an overflow storage lot for a company called Black Series RVs. And because it's on private property, this has become a trespassing dispute. One of the men who was living here tells me he was spending the little money he had to rent one of the RVs that typically sell for $40,000 to $100,000.
Yeah, I mean, I was giving my money to some Asian dude, and it was like $300, you know?
So some Asian dude said, hey, if you give me $300, you can stay in this RV.
I'm sure he had all the proper permits.
And of course, the math totally makes sense on that. Hey, a $50,000 to $100,000 RV? Sure, $300 a month.
And no one at any point in time bothered to ask any questions.
But I guess not. Like one day they just started taking trailers and they wouldn't even tell us why or what's going on.
He says people always complained when he and his girlfriend lived on the streets, so they thought being tucked away here wouldn't bother anyone.
How about you get off the streets?
Well, that would require getting off the meth.
You got to realize part of the insanity of this, because we have this going in a whole bunch of neighborhoods like Venice, where you have these van lords who rent out these RVs that they buy at police auction. The little secret about the homeless is they're all getting up to $1,500 a month in disability and Social Security. So they have disposable income to pay for the rent for these RVs.
Do you guys have anywhere else you're able to go to right now?
No, not right now. We're going to have to go back to the streets.
Oh, great.
You can't not do meth.
How about the snooty fox?
But the Sheriff's Homeless Outreach Services team says their priority is getting these people the help they need. In just a few hours, they say they connected 10 of these people with interim housing.
How about the ones that were starting fires? I don't know if we want to put them in a shelter.
No, because if the city is paying the bill and you put the arsonist in the motel and they light the motel on fire, guess who's on the hook to pay to cover the damage?
No one's going to be allowed to be here in 5 days, but our hope is to connect them properly. That way no eviction needs to happen.
Good luck with that.
And LASD tells us there are lots of conflicting reports about how long this has been going on out here for now. Some people tell us that they've been staying here for just a couple of weeks. Others told authorities they've been here for over a year now. Reporting in the City of Industry, Nicole Comstock, KCAL News.
There you go, Johnny. The RV encampment of the City Industry is starting to get shut down.
Well, finally, some good news. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Mary writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Hey, John and Randy, did you know in 1997 Huell Hauser traveled to Slab City?
Oh, we got to see that.
I pulled it up.
And little did I realize when we started our tour around Slab City just how many nice and colorful people we'd end up meeting.
Wait a minute. This is basically a lawless encampment of homeless people, correct?
Yes. Now, 30 years ago, it was a lot more just people who wanted to live off the grid in their RV or bus.
Now, wait a minute. Here's the first slab. Here's the first slab right here. Now, this is how it got its name.
That's right.
I'm telling you, those episodes never get old.
And this was the officer of the day slab.
So this is what's left of the old Marine base.
Yes.
All right, let's see some more, because there are people scattered all through here now, aren't there?
Yes, they are.
This is where you go if you want to live completely off the grid, whether you're on the run from the feds or you just don't like laws.
Okay, but back then, when you're talking about someone who lived off the grid, you're talking about the Lyndon LaRouche army. Now you're talking about people on meth named Lucifer.
How many people you figure are here?
Well, there's somewhere around 300 now. I counted the rigs the 3rd of February, and they was 352.
And that was in 1997. What do you think the population of Slab City is now?
Well, I can tell you those people were all run out of town by Lucifer. Does PBS rerun Huell Hauser's show on a regular basis? Because if they don't, they should.
They do. And not only do they do that, we've talked about this before, but for the past 2 years, PBS's YouTube channel runs a 24/7 live stream, and it is nothing but Huell Hauser and California's Gold.
So they come and go all the time, you know. And this pickup, that's Stepping Wolf and his wife.
Wait a minute, stop. Let's talk.
Stepping Wolf?
Stepping Wolf, huh?
Howdy. Good morning. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Well, tell us about Slab City. We're hanging out here today.
I wonder how Stepping Wolf got his Native American name.
Oh, I think it's wonderful.
Uh-huh.
This is our 8th year out here. We keep saying we're going someplace else, and we never do. We come right back.
Why do you keep coming?
He does sound like he's missing a couple teeths.
You know, when they clean out the encampment in the City of Industry, Stepping Wolf is going to get a new neighbor. Spread 'em thighs.
Why do you keep coming back?
It's beautiful. It's lovely.
Oh, TV used to be so much better. And not one person involved in the production of that show had any idea that was funny. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
The King of Burbank writes in at johnnydontlikeshow@gmail.com on Huell Hauser's episode where he went to Slab City. Guys, that episode was edited. The lady on the dune buggy admitted to burning out a thief. The original episode had that part. Later, they didn't want anyone admitting to a crime. I've been skimming through this episode during the commercial break. Let's see who he meets next.
Now, who are we visiting here?
We're visiting Big Hat and Derail.
Big Hat and Derail.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing just good.
Are you Big Hat or Derail?
I'm Derail.
Did they just move part of the Smoky Mountains into California?
Apparently, when you move to Slab City, you have a chosen name.
Not one name that we've heard so far appeared on a birth certificate. Just imagine if Huell Hauser were alive today and we could send him down to Skid Row and we could send him to this RV encampment and we could send him to all the new spots that have popped up in California since he died.
They couldn't call it California's Gold anymore, though.
Oh, this
no, they
is
couldn't.
Amazing.
Thanks, Huell.